An update on a major trial that we were following. The Karen Read murder trial was declared a mistrial. We're learning new motions put forth by the attorneys for Karen Read today as the defense team says jurors were unanimous on acquitting her of murder, as the jurors of the trial unanimously concluded she was not guilty of murder or of leaving the scene of a deadly accident, and were deadlocked on only the remaining manslaughter charge before the judge abruptly declared a mistrial, her defense team said on Monday. I want to continue here on Live Now from Fox and learn more about potentially what this means. We're going to bring into the conversation right here on Live Now from Fox, TMZ executive producer Michael Babcock. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. And maybe how big of these developments are they, and maybe how truthful are these three jurors saying that it was 12-0 unanimous of an acquittal on this murder charge?
Hey, Andy, thanks for having me. Yeah, look, this is a massive development here. Obviously, we know, and this trial has, I hesitate to bring up OJ just because obviously that's something even 30 years later that is still grips the country. But this trial really, it did grip the country, Andy, and people outside of the courthouse celebrating when the mistrial came down. And there was a tremendous amount of interest in this case, bottom line. So we have now found out, though, through Reed's attorney, a guy named Alan Jackson, that on the second-degree murder charge and one of the other charges as well, that three jurors informed the defense that they were 12-0 unanimous, not guilty, when it came to Karen Read's guilt or innocence. Now, there was a third charge that the jury was unable to reach a verdict on. As a matter of fact, it looked like they were going towards being guilty on that charge. Still wasn't unanimous, though. They deliberated for days after day after day. And finally, when they could not reach a verdict on all three, the judge declares a mistrial. Now, right after, the prosecution, Andy, says, we're going to retry this thing. You know, no ifs, ands, or buts here. Alan Jackson, Karen Read's attorney, is essentially saying, hey, look, you, the judge, you had a duty to inform us that the jurors reached a verdict, a not guilty verdict on two of these charges, including the most serious charge, the second-degree murder charge. And because of that, to retry Karen Read would be tantamount to double jeopardy. And because of that, they are now hoping that the prosecution will not be able to recharge on those two. And if they want to recharge on that third lesser charge, then so be it.
Yeah, is this more about the judge in that fact that they didn't necessarily come to a unanimous decision on all three, but they could come to a decision on two of the three, and they could have come forward and acquitted her on those as well? Is this maybe an indictment on the judge and what we were learning about in the legal process as a whole?
It certainly seems like that, and I fully understand that. This is the judge that's still presiding over this case, and to come out and to just attack the judge or throw the judge under the bus. I don't think that's what the tack that Karen Read's people or defense attorney wants to take here. But yeah, I mean, bottom line, and they've filed documents now with the court. They're saying, look, how could you not have told us that the jury had reached a verdict again on the most, the charge that's the most serious, the charge that carries decades and decades behind bars? How could you not tell us that the jury was 12-0 for not guilty? And they do believe wholeheartedly here that that verdict should have been allowed to stand. And again, if you want to recharge on that third charge that they could not come to an agreement on, then so be it. But 12-0 not guilty, they would like that to stand.
Yeah, and the intent part would be that vehicular manslaughter charge that they potentially could retry, or certainly allowing it, one of the three charges. And this was 5 days of deliberations. They were deadlocked as well. I do want to put up also this tweet as another development from this Boston area trial is Massachusetts State Trooper, the lead investigator, Michael Proctor, suspended without pay during a duty status hearing today. How big of a development is that? And maybe how much does that kind of look at the credibility of this investigation as a whole? Because I think there were some murky lenses through that as well that we were getting a picture of it. How big of a development was that?
I think it's a massive development. This trooper was the guy who was in charge of this investigation, and he's immediately suspended after the mistrial. that is announced, and then today he goes in front of a commission made up of 3 officers or 3 troopers, and like you said, Andy, suspended without pay. They take his gun, take the badge, they take it all. Now he had made some, really sort of gross comments, and I hope that Karen Reed kills herself, called her a whack job. That's just the start of it. This investigation, if you listen to the defense, I mean, it was a mess, from how the police at the start collected evidence to people who were talked to, people who weren't talked to. I mean, it really does paint a picture of this investigation just being just so disorganized from the very start. And now, yes, the guy who oversaw it, the fact that he is not even an acting police officer as we sit here and talk right now, I don't know how they retry this case, Andy, and I don't know how they ever get a conviction given what we know has gone on in this trial. I mean, it's hard to believe.
Yeah, some inappropriate comments there kind of led to this as well. And it's very sad that we're talking about this as Boston police officer John O'Keefe lost his life tragically there back in January of 2002. And it's going to be potentially a circus again if they retry this case there in Massachusetts around a potential another vehicular manslaughter or beyond for this Karen Reed trial. All right, Michael, thank you again. I appreciate your time here on Live Now.
Anytime. Thank you, Andy.
All right, take care. All right.